7 minutes, just 7 minutes on the clock, and absolute sheer panic has set in. I mean, picture the scene, right? You're England, you're stepping onto the pitch for a massive World Cup knockout match, and before the fans have even settled into their seats, you are trailing 1-0. 7 minutes in. And, a decade on from that completely disastrous European Championship exit to Iceland, this terrifying thought was just echoing in everyone's mind. Is history about to repeat itself? Are they really going to fall at the very first hurdle to an unfancied opponent?
Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're breaking down one of the absolute highest stakes, most dramatic clashes of the whole tournament. We are talking about the round of 32 showdown at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, England versus DR Congo. I mean, this game had it all. It had insane tension, world-class goalkeeping, a total tactical masterstroke, and a spectacular comeback that literally rewrote the history books. We're going to unpack exactly how England survived this one by the absolute skin of their teeth.
Part 1. The Shock. A seventh-minute disaster.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because the way this match opened was just nothing short of a total nightmare for the English squad. To really grasp how badly England was rattled, just think about the historical timeline here. Cipenga's strike was the earliest goal England has conceded in a World Cup knockout stage since Argentina's legendary Gabriel Batistuta scored in the 6th minute way back in 1998. Yeah, 1998. That early shock launched this grueling, agonizing 68-minute struggle where England was literally staring direct elimination right in the face. So how did this defensive total meltdown actually happen? Well, it was classic early-game English anxiety. The center backs were just pulled completely out of position. Jed Spence, who, by the way, was remarkably the third different player to start at right back for England in just 4 matches, fails to cut out a really dangerous cross from Chancel Mbemba. The ball finds Cipenga, and he doesn't hesitate for a single second. He confidently just slams a low shot right past Jordan Pickford at the near post. A totally stunned silence fell over the England fans in Atlanta. But man, what a dream start for DR Congo, right? Scoring in their first ever World Cup knockout game with Cipenga's very first international goal. You just can't write that stuff.
Part 2. The Wall. Mpasi's Masterclass.
Now, what's really interesting about what followed that early shock is that it wasn't just an English collapse. No, it was an absolute masterclass in resilience from DR Congo. They completely frustrated an England side that honestly was absolutely dominating possession. And the staggering number that totally defines this period of the match is 12. 12 saves by DR Congo's goalkeeper, Lionel Mpasi. England responded to their early goal by just throwing everything forward, but Mpasi completely controlled his penalty area. This wasn't just a good performance. It was a heroic, world-class wall that just kept England at bay, minute after agonizing minute.
The relentless pressure from England was met with just absolute defiance. Mpasi pulled off these superb saves against 2 really powerful Jude Bellingham headers. Then, when Noni Madueke made this brilliant run and set up Marcus Rashford at the far post, Aaron Wan-Bissaka was somehow there to miraculously clear it right off the goal line. And right on the stroke of halftime, following a corner, Mpasi stands tall again, blocking a close-range volley from Harry Kane. Oh, and let's not forget the danger going the other way. DR Congo almost snatched a second goal when Yoani Wissa turned Wan-Bissaka's low center against the post. So, England had the ball, sure, but DR Congo had an absolute iron defense.
Part 3. The Masterstroke. Tuchel's tactical shift.
Going into the second half, manager Thomas Tuchel he absolutely knew he needed fresh legs. So he makes a really brave call, bringing on Anthony Gordon and Bukayo Saka for Marcus Rashford and Noni Madueke. And right after the second hydration break, it pays off. Let's break down this 75th minute equalizer step by step because it's brilliant. First, Declan Rice sends in a cross that is completely overhit. Honestly, it looks like a totally wasted opportunity. But super sub Anthony Gordon, who had only been on the pitch for a few minutes, chases it down, collects it, and cleverly dinks it right back across the face of the goal. In the middle, Harry Kane finally manages to escape the tight marking of Axel Tuanzebe. Kane rises, makes contact, and heads the ball beyond the brilliant Mpasi. 1-1. Absolute relief erupts at Atlanta. England is finally alive.
Part 4. The Climax. Kane's 86th minute thunderbolt. But here's the thing. Just surviving wasn't enough. With the clock ticking down and the threat of extra time looming over them, the tension in that stadium was absolutely unbearable. We enter the 86th minute, just 4 minutes of normal time remaining, and it happens in a flash. Anthony Gordon, making an incredible impact off the bench once again, finds Harry Kane on the edge of the box. Kane collects the pass. Then, in one fluid, lethal motion, he turns and thunders a shot from just inside the penalty area. He drives it incredibly high, straight into the roof of Mpasi's net. Unstoppable. I mean, the goalkeeper who had saved literally everything had absolutely no chance against a strike of that ferocity. 2-1 to England. And you know, that thunderbolt meant so much more than just winning the match. With that brace, Harry Kane pushed his total World Cup goals to 13. That officially surpasses the legendary Brazilian Pelé, who sits at 12. Jude Bellingham had recently called Kane England's greatest ever player, and this genuinely historic achievement serves as pretty incredible proof of that. To come up clutch with 2 goals when your country is on the very brink of elimination, that is legendary status secured for sure. Part 5, the aftermath, stats and survival. So after Yohan Wissa sent a dramatic final free kick wide, the full-time whistle blew. England survived. But the aftermath leaves us with some truly mind-bending historical context to process. Just listen to these staggering stats. Harry Kane now has 84 total goals for England. He's also the first England player to score a brace in a World Cup knockout stage match since Gary Lineker did it against Cameroon way back in the 1990 quarterfinals. But okay, here's the stat that should really make your jaw drop. This was the very first time England has won a World Cup match after conceding the first goal since they lifted the trophy in the 1966 final. Think about that for a second. They haven't pulled off a World Cup comeback like this in 60 years. Absolutely wild.
So, what does this all mean? What are our key takeaways from this breathless encounter? First off, Harry Kane has firmly cemented his status as perhaps England's greatest ever player, basically pulling his team from the abyss single-handedly. Second, we absolutely have to recognize Lionel Mpasi, who was just a heroic, world-class wall in defeat. Third, Thomas Tuchel has clearly found his ultimate super sub in Anthony Gordon, whose impact in setting up both goals is the reigning theme of England's tournament right now. But finally, and probably most importantly moving forward, England's tendency to stumble early defensively remains a massive glaring concern. They stumbled for large periods of this game, and honestly, they barely survived.
Which leads us perfectly to our final thought today. The next stop is July 5th, Mexico versus England at the historic Estadio Azteca. 40 years of history and baggage will be right there on the line. But the real question is, with a defense that looked this shaky in the opening minutes, can England really survive the sheer hostility and pressure of the Azteca? They're going to need a much, much better performance than this one, that's for sure. Let me know what you think of their chances, and hey, make sure to like and subscribe, because in our next explainer, we're breaking down Belgium's incredible 3-2 extra time win over Senegal, featuring the absolute latest goal in World Cup history. You definitely won't want to miss it. See you then.